Let's draw a maple helicopter. You can get a picture off the internet, or if you live in an area where there's a lot of these things, little maple, some people call them helicopters, you can try to find one. You can see the ones that are outside my house right now aren't in very good shape. It's the fall and the autumn now in October, and some of them are kind of looking a little bit like they've seen a little bit of weather, so they're not in the best shape. So I'm going to work from this picture I found. You can just use Google image search and you can put in maple seeds, maple helicopter seeds, something like that, and you'll get some nice pictures to work from. So the first thing you need to do is we're going to fold the paper in half. So that we get one on one side and one on the other. The fold's going to go like this. It'll go right down the middle, so you'll have one on one side and one on the other. Okay, and then you need to sketch out about where your seed is going to go. Now it's really important to sketch very lightly. This is a very light guideline because you're probably going to end up erasing it a little bit. And work large. Make sure your seeds fill the page. Now you may have one that's pretty straight. This one's a little bit straighter than my picture. You may have one that kind of goes like this, or you might have one that goes more like that. But you draw the one that you have. You don't have to draw this one. This is just a little help to get you started on your own drawing. So I'm going to look carefully at my picture and see how this line comes down like this. It's very, very long. I'm not going to worry about this part yet. I'm just looking at the edge. And you can use, it's kind of a help if you look at the triangle that this makes. You see this makes kind of a triangle here, and you can kind of see how what the angle is, and you can kind of imitate that on your paper. So this angle's about like this. Okay, so it's going to go up like that, approximately like something like this. Okay, so just kind of, so it just generally looks about long enough. And then you look back quickly, look what you've drawn, look back and forth and compare and say, oh, this maybe could be a little thinner right there. Okay, so you go back, it's just an outline, it's okay. You can just erase a little bit. It's not a big deal. If you think it's just a little bit too big or small. Okay. And then the stem is going to come like this. So once you've got your general outline in, and you can do either page. If you're left-handed, probably it'll be easier to sketch this one. You can do either one, but just do one. And then once you get it kind of generally mapped out, then this is time when you go back and you look carefully. You want to look, and we're going to do what they do, contour line drawing. We're going to look at this edge, trace, make your eyes trace around it, and keep your pencil going with your eye. Look very carefully at your subject and down like this, around. I'm going to put it up here. You're not going to be able to see it so well, but like that. Now be careful to get these little bump things in there. So each one of these is a little bit different. Yours is not going to be exactly like this. And if you don't have to get it absolutely perfect, because obviously there's millions of these in the world and they do look a little bit different. So, okay. Now, to get the one on the other side, here's a trick. If you fold your paper over now and you rub, it's nice to have, if you want to use the back of a spoon or something, or I'm going to use my finger, but you might want something a little bit sturdier than a fingernail, but I'm just going to rub, open it up, and you'll see the guideline for the other side. So now that made it a lot easier, didn't it? So now on this side, all I have to do is just go along, and now I'm looking at the picture again. So I'm going to go along and draw in all the little nicks on here. Okay, now we're ready to do some shading. Now, the rule of thumb when you're making a sketch, what you always want to do is you want to do shading that will make it look 3D. Before you worry about all these little details in here, all these little lines, you can squint your eyes a little bit. It helps. This is very flat, so the only shading we're going to have to do is really right here. These little, which is this is where the seed is inside here. Of course, these things are just the wings that let it get airborne and fly. The actual seed is in here, so it's kind of round. So these, you can use the side of your pencil a little bit. And then I like to use my finger. If you use a nice soft one, I guess I'm using a 2B pencil here. You could use HB, but if you use a 2B pencil, you can really shade that. So we'll give it a little bit of dimensionality so it actually looks like these things are kind of round. Okay, and then a little bit under here is kind of dark, kind of goes up under. A little bit in between, like that. Okay, so they kind of look like they're humping up a little bit. And then everything else is pretty flat here. I wanted to come down, bring this down a little bit because this ridge comes down here and it's kind of maybe a little bit standing out. Okay, and drawing this down there. Okay, now we're ready for these little detail lines. Now, when you look at your helicopter seed, look carefully at these veins. Now, yours won't look just like this. I was looking at my ones here, and they have a little bit different pattern. So you'll have to look carefully at your picture or your actual helicopter seed. And we're not going to draw every one exactly. It would take too long, but we want to kind of get the gist of it. Like when I follow this one here, it comes down, then it splits in half, then it splits in half again, and we want to kind of simulate that. So at least on some of these, we're going to make some of them try to make them look pretty much exactly like they really are. But on others, we're just going to kind of fake it. So pick out some. Notice how they come like this, curve down like this. In general, this is the pattern. They kind of curve like this. So some of them you can just draw exactly what's there, and some of them we can just kind of fudge it a little bit. Now these have some little in-between things too. It looks like some little lines going like this. Looks like a little bit of a web. Some of them don't have that. Some of them just have pretty much straight down. My little dried out one here doesn't look very webby, but this one in the picture does. So there's a few lines that are going to go this way, but most of the lines are going to go like this. Okay, and then some branch off like that. See how there's like some that go kind of like that, and then we branch off like that. Some of them don't come quite all the way down, and they get really close together right here, right? It's okay, that's what happens, they just get really close together. Okay, now we're going to put in these things across here, and they kind of going to go right with curve there. All right. Now we need to fill in the other side. Okay, so then now you want to just put any little finishing touches. Look back to your original and see if you want to touch it up a little bit. There you have it. You can, if you work on brown paper with a nice black pencil, you could probably even cut this out if you want to. You could decorate the other side. If you want to make a 3D, you could use it as an ornament or something, or you can just leave it as a pencil sketch. We can write what this is. Maple tree, and then I'm going to put quotes, helicopter, because it's really called, but that's what most people call them, helicopter seeds. And then if you want to, you can put your initials and the date. And do any kind of cleanup. If you got some stray lines, you can clean them up.